In the corners of our world, there are secrets, things hidden away by time, waiting for someone bold enough to find them. This is the story of Ethan and the train that changed his life forever. Chapter 1. The invitation. Ethan sits at his desk, scrolling through his emails. He's a part-time freelance photographer and full-time explorer of the strange and unknown. Most emails are mundane, but one stands out. The subject line reads, "Find the train." It's waiting. Confused and intrigued, Ethan clicks it open. Inside, there are no details, just GPS coordinates and a line. Not all tracks lead home. Ethan's curiosity ignites. He's heard rumors about abandoned train lines and ghost trains, but nothing credible. Against his better judgment, Ethan decides to investigate. The next morning, Ethan drives to the coordinates, a remote forest on the outskirts of his state. The gravel road turns into a narrow, overgrown path, forcing him to park and continue on foot. As he ventures into the woods, he notices how unnaturally quiet it is. No birds, no rustling leaves, just silence. After an hour, he spots it. Train tracks, barely visible under decades of moss and dirt. His heart races as he follows them deeper into the forest. Chapter 2. The train appears as Ethan rounds a bend. He freezes. There it is. A massive train, its black exterior blending with the shadows of the trees. Its rusted shell is covered in vines, but its windows are pristine, almost shimmering. The headlights flicker faintly, though there's no visible power source. Ethan's breath catches in his throat. He raises his camera to take a photo but finds his hands trembling. Inside, the train is eerily clean, polished floors, pristine seats, and the faint smell of lavender lingering in the air. On one of the seats, Ethan finds a leather-bound journal. The pages are filled with strange symbols, like a language he's never seen. The last page, however, is written in clear English. Take the journey to see the truth. Suddenly, the doors slide shut, and the train lurches forward. Ethan stumbles, gripping a handrail as the train begins to move, gaining speed. Chapter 3. The first stop. The train's windows, once pitch black, now show a bustling city from the 1940s. Ethan is stunned. He can see people walking the streets, old-fashioned cars rolling by, and neon signs advertising products he's only read about in history books. When the train stops, the doors hiss open. Ethan hesitates but steps out. He finds himself in a version of his hometown, decades before he was born. The streets are lively, filled with chatter and laughter. Ethan walks into a small bakery and freezes when he sees a young woman behind the counter. She looks just like his grandmother when she was young, based on old photographs. She smiles warmly at him, but before he can approach, the train whistle blows. The doors begin to close. Ethan sprints back, barely making it on board. As the train pulls away, he watches the city fade into the distance, leaving him shaken and full of questions. Chapter 4. The mystery deepens. The train continues to take Ethan to different places and times. In one stop, he finds himself on a battlefield in a war he doesn't recognize. Soldiers yell orders, smoke fills the air, and Ethan narrowly avoids being trampled by a rushing line of troops. Among them, he spots a man who looks eerily like his father, though younger and in military gear. At another stop, Ethan steps into a futuristic city filled with glowing skyscrapers and hovering vehicles. The streets are empty, save for a large screen projecting his own face, accompanied by the words, "The one who could have been." Each destination leaves Ethan more confused, but he begins to notice something strange: the journal. Its previously blank pages are filling in with detailed descriptions of his journey, almost as if it's predicting his experiences. The words grow darker with each page. You cannot run from yourself. The truth waits at the final stop. Chapter 5. The final destination. The train eventually slows, stopping in a dark, seemingly endless tunnel. The air feels heavy as Ethan steps off into a cavern illuminated by glowing crystals embedded in the walls. At the center of the cavern stands a massive machine resembling a clock, its gears turning in all directions. An ethereal figure appears, its form shifting like smoke. It speaks in a voice that echoes in Ethan's mind. "You have reached the source of time." Few are chosen to ride the train, but all who do must face their truth. The figure explains that the train is a guardian of timelines, existing outside of reality. It selects passengers who elude those who need to confront their past, present, and future. Ethan realizes the train has shown him parts of his life he's avoided, the loss of his grandmother, his father's sacrifices, and his own unfulfilled potential. The figure offers him a choice. 1. Return to his life with the knowledge he's gained and a chance to change his path. 2. Stay and become a caretaker of the train, helping others find their way. Chapter 6. The choice. Ethan struggles with the decision. The thought of staying is tempting, but he knows deep down that he has unfinished business in his life. I want to go back, he says, his voice steady. The figure nods, and the train doors open one last time. Ethan steps back inside, and the train begins its final journey. When it stops, Ethan finds himself back in the forest, standing beside the rusted tracks. The train is gone, replaced by silence. In his hand is the journal, now fully written. As he flips through it, he feels a surge of determination. Epilogue. The story ends with Ethan standing on a hill, watching the sunset. In the distance, a faint whistle echoes, and he smiles knowingly. Some journeys are not meant to be understood, only lived. What would you choose, the truth or the journey?